Hey, so back in November, I made a video detailing how to use a few different mod tools to add your own custom Echo Fighters to Smash Ultimate, and you guys absolutely tore that up. And for that, I can't thank you enough. The support on it has been incredible. Following that, we had a Smash Ultimate modding direct back in January that showed the debut of many projects, and that just pulled me right back into the space. So, with that being said, I wanted to come back and see just how far the scene has come since then. So let's do that. Let's you and I take a little peek-see at the current projects that are being cooked up, shall we? Now, this video is going to be broken into two major segments. The first is going to be me showcasing how far the modding scene has come and showing off a few projects that are currently in the works, and then the latter half will be me showing how you yourself can get started using these mods by showing you what tools you need and where to place all of your files. However, there are some things that need to be mentioned with both sections of the video. First, the moveset showcases that I will be showing are all obviously still works in progress and are entirely subject to change and will be further polished as they near closer to their release. And secondly, the tutorial portion of this video will be working with the understanding that you know how to access all the files that are going to be mentioned. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you are modding on your Switch, that you know how to access your SD card and you know how to access the file directories in it. But alright. You've heard me yap on long enough about what's going to be happening. How's about we actually get to the happening and start looking at some of the amazing talent being displayed. There will be timestamps provided for each segment in the description as well as all of the respective credits, so keep an eye out for those if you're going to need them. What an amazing showcase that was, and what an even bigger honor it was to have the permission to share all of this with you. Now, with everything out of the way, let's get straight into guiding you through how you can set all of this up for yourself so you can start smashing the bros the way I and so many others love to do. Huge thanks to that Nintendo nerd of the Smash Ultimate Modding Hub Discord and the folks over in mRama's Movesets Discord for all of the help with the technical side of this guide. First things first, let's get set up for all of the plugins and tools we're going to need to make these mods run properly. Doing this first will allow us to knock all of the prerequisites out of the way so adding mods down the line becomes mostly a drag and drop process. One major thing to note, however, is this guide, if you're on a Nintendo Switch console, assumes you have already modded the Switch itself and have Atmosphere and everything else you're going to need set up. If you're using an emulator like me, the file paths should be mostly the same. To start with, make a folder on your drive for mods and mod zips that we're going to be downloading. This will give us a clear space to work with for adding mods that we're going to be putting into the game. Next, open your browser and get all the links from the description pulled up, as these are the tools and mods that we are going to download. Now, go to Skyline and download it. This is our primary plugin loader and allows us to run all of the major plugins used in our master file mods. Acropolis is next, a Skyline plugin that is our primary mod loader exclusive to Smash Ultimate and is one of, if not the major backbone of all of Smash modding due to the game's unique file system. When downloading Acropolis, rename the release.zip file to acropolis.zip, as this will be easier to track, as another tool, Stage Config, has the same file name on its GitHub. After downloading these two mods, go into your Smash Mod zip folder you made and extract each mod to their own folder. Extracting them to their own folder instead of straight into the folder keeps everything clean, as we will be putting a lot of mods in here as we continue. Next, go into skyline.zip and continue in each directory until you reach the xfs folder. Copy this folder and paste it in Ultimate's Game ID folder in SD, Atmosphere, Contents, and Game ID. If you're on emulator, this will be in your app data. If you don't know how to access app data, please look it up. Roaming, your emulator of choice, for me it's Ryujinx, SD card, and then Atmosphere, Contents, and Game ID. After doing this, back out to the Game ID folder and create a folder called ROMFS, that's ROMFS, in all lowercase, and go into the folder and create another called Skyline, again all in lowercase. In the Skyline folder, create a folder in all lowercase called Plugins, and you're ready to move on to the next tool. Now it's time to set up Acropolis. Unzip the folder and go into the directories until you reach the libarchropolis.nro file. Copy this file and place it in the plugins folder that you just made at Atmosphere, Contents, Game ID, ROMFS, Skyline, Plugins. After setting that up, run the game at least once, as it will set up all the necessary folders for our mods moving forward. After you've ran the game at least once, verify that the Ultimate, as well as the Acropolis and mods folder inside it, folder has been created, and get ready to continue. Go to Smashline and download the NRO file on its release page. Do the same for libparamconfig and libnrohook on their respective pages as well. Now, for those curious, Smashline is basically a Skyline plugin that is a framework that all moveset mods run off of. nrohook provides an interface for developers to use hook functionality within standalone NRO files, which gives each moveset mod its own unique script logic. And lastly, paramconfig gives developers an interface to intercept and change the game parameters only when those mods are present in battle. Once you're done downloading these three NRO plugins, copy and paste them in the same place you pasted your NRO file for Acropolis, shown on screen if you managed to forget already. And now, download the release.zip from Stage Config, unzip it, and grab the NRO file from inside it and put it in the same place. This plugin allows the parameters of a stage to be edited and will be required for the stage mods showcased in this guide. After you've done this, go to OneSlotEffects' Game Banana page and download the mod, unzip it, and place the plugin inside with the rest of them. This will allow any particle effect created by fighters to be altered on individual character slots instead of the entire fighter, which will be used both by a mod we're grabbing later as well as any moveset mod you'll be using. Don't worry, as we only have one major dependency to grab before we get started on actually downloading a mod. As I mentioned, all of this setup will be extremely worth it, as this streamlines the modding process for you in the future, as these are all the big plugin mods that all moveset mods and such run off of. So lastly, go to CSK Collection's Game Banana page and download it. This mod is a massive collection of resources modders use to make their moveset mods and allow the moveset mods to slot themselves on the roster, as well as so much more. unzip the mod to its own folder, and paste the Atmosphere Ultimate folders straight into your SD card folder. This mod already has the file path set up, so verify by making sure you have the CSK Collection NRO plugin in your plugins folder, as well as the mods added in your mods folder. Before we go any further with adding mods, I do recommend running the game again just to make sure everything that we've done so far works. I also recommend setting up a naming convention for your mods so that way you can keep track of them as you add more and more to your collection. Mine is shown on screen now, and you're encouraged to follow it, as that's how I will be referring to folder names in your mods folder past this point. I also really quick want to mention the way the file paths work for mods in Ultimate. Inside your Ultimate/mods folder will be the folder that is the name of the mod, and inside that folder should be all of the game's file folders, such as Fighter, Sound, UI, and the necessary config files and plugins if necessary. If your mod contains a config.json file and or a plugin.nro file, do not move these out of the mod folder to anywhere else, as the mod depends on them, and the plugins we installed earlier will handle running these, and your game will most likely crash if you do move them. It's finally time to start modding the game wide open, and where better to start than a simple skin and effects mod. Find the mod link section of the description below and pull up the 3 mods listed: Cabal Sonic by Iron Knuckle 124, Brinstar X by Devori, and the Shadow the Hedgehog moveset mod by Dr. Dark, as we will be using these in the tutorial. Go to Cabal Sonic's page and download the mod zip file as well as the effects mod zip file. This mod replaces Sonic's C07 slot or his 8th costume slot, as well as adds purple effects to replace Sonic's default effects. Now, after downloading this, go to your mod zip folder and extract them into their own folder. Open the Cabal Sonic folder and you'll notice that it has another folder inside it. Open that and you should see the game's file folder I mentioned, Fighter, UI, and a config.json file to go along with it. This is our primary mod folder, so back out and rename the folder to parentheses Sonic C07 parentheses Cabal Sonic to keep in line with the naming convention that we set up earlier. Next, grab this folder and drag it out into the main zips folder, and then go into the Cabal Sonic effects folder, rename the folder inside to parentheses Sonic C07 parentheses Cabal Sonic effects, and drag that out as well. Let's check all of our bases so far. Inside our main Smash Mod zip folder, we should have the Sonic C07 Cabal mod and its effects mod both sitting there ready to be moved. And if you were to open these folders, you should be able to see the game's file folders right inside. Now, take these 2 mods, copy them, and paste them in your SD/ultimate/mods folder. The reason I keep harping on the pathing of these mods is it's very easy to end up with nested mods or mods folders within folders, and that can cause the game to crash or the mod to not run at all. Now, download the Brinstar X mod and unzip it. Inside the mod folder, we can check to see what variants of Brinstar it alters. So do this by opening the stage folder, clicking on the stage ID name folder, and checking to see if it has both a normal and battle folder, or just one of the 2. Normal is the base stage, and battle is for its battlefield and omega variants. This mod only alters the base stage, and with our folder naming conventions is only half a stage replacer, so back out and name the primary folder to !33.5 Brinstar X. Now, grab this mod and put it in your mods folder with the Cabal Sonic mod and get ready to move to the last mod. Finally, after downloading a simple skin and stage mod, we are ready to download a moveset mod and justify all of the massive setup we did at the beginning. For this guide, I chose the Shadow the Hedgehog moveset mod. So download the mod and unzip it. However, don't go into the folder and just move that folder to your mods folder, as this is why I warned you about nested folders. If you click on that second folder, you'll notice that this mod actually contains 2 separate mods in it, Shadow's moveset as well as an assist trophy replacer. Open the Shadow moveset folder and you'll see all the folders as well as its own plugin.nro file. Do not move this. As I mentioned earlier, the plugins you have in your Skyline folder will handle these. Back out to the moveset's primary folder, rename it to !22 Shadow the Hedgehog moveset, and copy paste that into your mods folder. After you've done all of this, it's time to test our game and make sure everything is running, and thus concludes the end of the tutorial. In game, loading up everything, you should be able to easily confirm whether your mods are working or not. So if we go over to Brinstar, we will see now that Brinstar X has loaded. Opening the character select screen, we should see Shadow's moveset on screen. Here it is, working perfectly. If you're wondering why my character select screen looks different, if you're going to be adding multiple moveset mods, you're going to want to make sure to have a mod that changes the character select screen to remove the 91 character limit, and the mod that I have listed in the description also replaces that and comes pre-patched with that limit remover so that you can add as many characters to your character select screen as you'd like. Now let's check and see if Sonic's mod is working. As you can see, both mods are all working. Let's load up the match just to make sure that everything runs perfectly. Now in game, you can easily confirm that all 3 mods are working, as you can see them on screen now. Thank you so much for following along, and a huge thanks to all of the mod authors whose tools and mods made this guide possible. Much love to all of you. Now, if you want to take your modding a step further and learn how to make your own clone slot or Echo Fighter mods, I have a guide for just that, which will show up at the end of this video. Thank you all so much, and happy modding! Huge tank. Fucking huge tanks. Oh my god. I'm gonna cry.